Other things, other common things are things like volume, not being loud enough. Guys walking around with barriers, we call it barriers in front of them. So things like the bear shield I talk about on the DVD, crossing your arms, anything that really closes you off. And obviously the standard one, the massive one, which is leaning in and pecking in as well. But those are some of the common things. That's actually a lot there, but there's a ton more as well.
And I know you kind of mentioned it when you said that it's the guys carrying over some of the negative stress and negative emotions from work and just throughout their day and whatnot. But how else does body language come about? Some guys, let's say naturals, may have you can almost walk into a club and see some guys casual, cool, laid back, while other guys are just completely the way you're talking about. What other sort of internal or attitude type things have an effect on body language?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that actually, because it's what I realized quite early on was that body language is both a mental and a physical process. So kind of mastery of your body language is mental and physical. And how I learned this was that when I was in drama school, we used to do Alexander technique every week. And Alexander, for those who don't know, it is a technique where you kind of use your mind in order to gain mastery and control of your body and to release tension, so that you use just the requisite amount of tension necessary to stay upright and to do certain physical actions. But one of the things that we worked on was posture and alignment and opening and just really being relaxed and comfortable. So the Alexander teacher would work on me, and she would give me you almost grow a few inches because you're just releasing tension and stretching. But what it does as you do that, so she would work on me, she would release tension, she would get me standing in my full height, and then would have to go out of the classroom and walk around the actual drama school, greeting people and, just kind of going about your business. But what I found is that as I went out and I was walking around talking to people, I would gradually start to shrink back into my bad habits. And then I feel what the reason behind that was because I felt as if I was, from the adjustment in my body language, I felt as if I was being high status. I felt as if I was actually towering over people. I felt there was a degree of it that was confrontational almost, right? And so that's when I realized that, oh shit, there's a mental process here as well that is stopping me from being from having strong body language. So then, I worked on that and became comfortable. It was a decision I had to make, was how, and it's what I do with guys as well, because I realized the same thing in them. There is a decision that one has to make pretty early when it comes to dealing with body language, is how comfortable are you standing out from the crowd? And that's an honest question I have to ask guys. It's like, how comfortable are you feeling like an elite man? Because it is, unless you address that, unless you really, really dig deep, and we talk about beliefs, I do this, talk about belief systems and that kind of stuff, and that's one of the things, but unless you really dig deep and ask yourself if you're comfortable standing out from the crowd and making a mark, those bad negative beliefs that stop you from standing up straight, that stop you from being open, that stop you from holding strong eye contact, those sort of things, they will creep up and smash you down all the time.
Yeah. Can you this is interesting to me. Can you give maybe one or two examples of maybe like an empowering belief that a guy can use to maybe replace one of those limiting beliefs? Because I know exactly what you're talking about, and I've seen it in action in plenty of guys, that it's almost like you're saying they're scared to seem too confident. They're scared to take up too much space, and they'd rather kind of shrink away from the spotlight. Do you have any examples of maybe like a belief that they can work on and installing in their mind to make themselves more comfortable sort of projecting that dominant masculine body language? Yeah.
There's a number of things that there's beliefs are difficult to instill. I teach a process on the DVD of kind of highlighting them and eliminating them. But one of a few things that, a few variations on beliefs are things like understanding that I get more results from standing out. That's one thing, all right? And that, even when it comes to approaching, that most people, you put yourself into the top 95% by standing out and by taking action and by being assertive and dominant and confident in your body language. So it's anything. I mean, beliefs are kind of personal. Some of the ones that I have is that, and I tell people this: beliefs don't have to be real in order to be helpful. And some of my beliefs, I'll be honest, to the outside person, they can seem damn right delusional. However, I've got things like, I like being watched. I like being observed. And I mean, I'm an actor and to a degree that feeds into me. I love being on the stage. I love standing out from the crowd. So anything that is the antithesis of the negative belief, I advise working towards instilling in yourself. And that's how I started. I'd find the beliefs that were really, really fucking with me, excuse my French, and I would, work on instilling them. So things like, I remember this was a major one for me. I'm a trained actor. I've got a very strong voice. I'm on the stage. However, whenever I go on the phone in public, say on a bus or something, I'll get this little mouse voice. It just turned into this little flipping girl's voice. And I couldn't, and I was so conscious of other people listening to my phone calls. And that was really messing with me for a while. So I flipped it and I went through this process of speaking extra loud on the bus and just saying, I don't care what other people think about me. I don't care if they hear my conversation. And, so it's whatever, you have to find what negative belief you have, find the antithesis of it, and, start seeking reference experiences, which is something I'm going to, there's a bonus DVD on the body language thing where I take them through this whole beliefs upheaval and how to instill new beliefs as well. Did that kind of answer the question?
Yeah, definitely. And you said something that I thought was real interesting and true, is that in the beginning, you have to be a little bit delusional. And what's funny about being delusional is that if you're sort of believe it enough and have that belief instilled enough, you can almost transfer that delusion to other people. And I kind of, when you said that, I thought about a guy I know who just is delusional about, how good looking he is and how women treat him. And women that first meet him are totally like, this guy's delusional, but the women who know him for a while and are around his delusion, after a while begin to sort of accept it, and they start talking about him like he's good looking, whereas when they first met him, that they didn't see that about him at all, and it's just an interesting kind of thing that happens with what really you're talking about with being delusional.
Yeah, I had a natural friend of mine. We were I've known him since we were about 11 or something like that, and he was phenomenal with women from when he was young, just an absolute charmer. We were 16. He was seeing women that were 32, and they were gorgeous as well. And I asked him one day, I was like, John, man, what is going through your head when you see these girls? And he was like, and he looked at me and he's like, you know what I think? I just think, you want to fuck me, don't you? I was thinking, whoa, that is so far outside. Back then, it was so far outside of my reality, and that was something that I knew that was work. Because what I say to people is, whenever we talk about seeking mentors as a way to learn new beliefs and gaining knowledge, mentors, and experience. But when you find a mentor, it's not just about seeing their actions. It's about finding out what they are thinking, so their thought processes. So that was one of the things that I was like, whoa, here's a guy who's extremely successful with women. Here's me at that time who wasn't, and what is he thinking? Found out what he was thinking, that it was drastically different from what I was thinking. So now I started to model that and to find, the kind of reference experiences and the support for those new beliefs in myself. But yeah, he was, you know, quote unquote delusional, but he was getting fantastic